Hello everyone, Dusty Fly Guy here, and in today's video we're going to be checking out the brand new HITMAN World of Assassination iPhone and iPad port. So basically this is supported on iPhone 16, iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max and newer, and also iPads with M chips and the iPad mini with the A17 chip, so that's the newest iPad mini. And basically this is a brand new port of HITMAN World of Assassination, so that's Hitman 1 through 3, and you can get started for free actually. There's a 1-3 map, and then the maps are around, I believe, $2.50 in USD, because it's around $5 in ZD for each map. So let's get started. We're going to be testing out on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the iPad Air M1, and the brand new iPhone 17 Pro Max. Let's get started. So as you can see, we're off to a crispy start, I should say. 20 frames per second in Whittleton Creek. I think this map is pretty hard to run, so we're going to try with this. And I'm really glad this game is here, to be honest, because I feel like it's one of the perfect games to play on like an iPhone when you're at say example, last week I was stuck at the DMV getting a warrant of fitness for my car, and it took quite a little bit, and I kind of wish I had something to do when I was just waiting around. But Hitman is like almost the perfect game for that, because you can kind of just come back, you can save, you can load, you can kind of just go take out a target and then drive somewhere you need to be, and when you're on your lunch break, say, you can just play some of this on your iPhone. Now, as you can see, it might not be the greatest experience if you have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, or even like your iPhone 16 series, I think could possibly run this, but I don't think you're going to have a great experience considering this is the 15 Pro Max, but we're going to test with some other devices later on. Alright, so that was the first crash of the video, but we're back, and I should probably show the settings the game is defaulting to. So unfortunately we don't have that in-depth settings available here. Sorry, my controller's not working, so I have to keep looking down. So I'll just set to the default settings, which the game is running at 30 FPS middle FX spatial, set to performance, with mirror reflections set to low and locked at 30 FPS. And this makes it look pretty unsharp with the spatial, but it's not the worst thing. Not unsharp, it looks oversharp and very noisy. But it's acceptable, and you're not going to notice on the iPhone screen, I'll say that much. And it looks great on the iPhone screen. And yeah, I also can appreciate how they put in actual effort into putting real controls. We've seen pretty lazy controls in something like Death Stranding and the Resident Evil ports. They kind of just put a control overlay on. But as you can see here, we have in-depth buttons. If I press this, we can scroll using our fingers, which is pretty cool. We can select it, we can unselect it. And I'm just really appreciative that they actually put time and effort into this stuff. If only the game ran a bit better. We've seen that it could low-key just be up to the developers, not to shame them. This game is really good, but we saw with the Switch 2 port that it wasn't really running great, and the frame rate was uncapped and it could barely hit 60 on the Switch 2, and that doesn't really make sense with some of the other games that could run on the Switch 2. So I honestly wouldn't hold it down to your phone being bad. Alright, let me get out of here. So this game is quite fun. So basically you have targets you need to go assassinate because you're a hitman, and you can see through this hunter vision. So my goal here is to assassinate that person. I should probably go find a disguise. So while no one's looking, I'm going to go attack this person. Nice suit. I'll wait for him to go into the bush, and I'm going to subdue him. Spam that. And then we're going to drag his body. So they have to keep looking down. I need to check the controls because I don't have the controller working on iOS for some reason. Not iOS, that's not the right wording. I don't have the controls working on the actual game. That's what I want to say. Select this handgun. And now that we've got that costume, we can either go through the back door or we can go straight through the entrance. Cigarettes, I just picked up the cigarettes they're talking about. I don't know how we can get into the back there. I guess we'll also go into this house. We're just breaking and entering into everyone's house. Now we can climb over. We'll probably get some strange looks climbing over a fence. But now we're technically here, and we're closer to our target than ever. So we don't want to be seen by that security guard because he's like a higher up, and he will get angry at us. Alright, so now we can actually just go assassinate this target here. I'm going to find somewhere smart to do this. Maybe like in the bush. I'm going to just double check which my targets, and he's gone inside, so that means I missed the opportunity, but I can just follow him and just gun him down. So you're supposed to do this very smartly, but I just got caught, so it's time to just shoot him. Boom. And I'm pressing all of the buttons. Now I'm just going to run for my life.
We are close now. 47.
Well, we're probably going to have to switch devices now that we got caught, but let me just save right here. I can't even save until I get uncaught. Oh, and I died. Alright, we're going to switch to the iPad now. Alright, so now we're on the M1 iPad Air. So we're going to be able to see how it runs on the iPad, and as you can see, it's running at a native resolution of 820 and upscaling it to 1600p or 2360 by 1640p. So that is a quite high resolution, and as you can see, it's actually in like a heightened aspect ratio. I think it's 4:3. I could be wrong. I think it's a little bit wider than that, but we have just the general same settings here. You can uncap the frame rate on the iPad if you want. I think you could realistically get 40 on some iPads. I don't know if you have an M1 if you're going to get that. I doubt it, but you could. I would say more than likely it seems to be kept at 30 on these iPads no matter what I change, which is a little bit strange. So we're going to keep it there. You can change with some of the settings, but I'm just going to keep it how it is. You can see it's pretty much a locked 30. Now, we want this dude's costume, so we're going to go kill him for it. And I can't aim today, apparently. And I just killed this guy. Pretty much for no reason, so I feel pretty bad. We're going to drag his body and dump it in the river. Hopefully not get caught. So we're going to go for the other target, and then we're going to try a different map on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. And I kind of want to test the hardest to run map, which I believe it could be Dubai, but from my testing, it is the Miami map, the F1 map. So we'll go hunt him down. We can do this properly. The main objective is to do all these assassinations properly, but I'm not doing them because it'd make the video take quite a while. And this video could get quite lengthy if I tried to do it properly. I low-key could just snipe him from here. Well, I technically killed him. Now I'm in a shootout with his security. I'm actually so dead. And they're throwing grenades. And I died, but I technically killed him. Alright, we're gonna switch to a different map. Alright, so now we're in Miami, and as you can see, the frame rate's gotten crispy, or cinematic, I guess you could say. 20 frames per second on the M1 iPad Air. I mean, it doesn't have fans on it, so the frame rate's of course going to get worse as you go on. But yeah, I think the issue with the Miami map is there's a lot of people in the crowd for no reason. So yeah, not for no reason, it is an F1 race. So that's why. But basically, as you can see, the frame rate's really bad on this map. So the ultimate test will be the next phone, which will be the iPhone 17 Pro Max, to see if it can run this Miami map. Alright, so walking through the crowd, we're getting like 27 frames per second. Not great, not bad. It's playable. 30 FPS. It's kind of steadying now. VIP. How did you get in here? I walked in, bro. Anyway. That could have been bad. Alright, don't miss, don't miss. I did not miss. Oh, that is gruesome. Alright, now we just need to go eliminate this other person. I think that was them. Yes, that was them. Well, we didn't even get caught for that. Technically, we can just run, drop that gun. Now we just run. But the frame rate is pretty bad on this, even the M1. Just this mission though. I'd say most missions are playable. And this is certainly playable. I mean, most people playing on an iPad aren't really going to notice or care because they're playing on an iPad. But if you are like heavy into gaming, you can probably notice the frame rate dips. And yeah, let's just get out of here and escape. It looks very overexposed on my capture card and on the actual device. It's very bright for some reason. Don't know if that is the game's fault or my fault, but I believe it's the game's fault. Alright, now we escaped and we can check on the iPhone 17 Pro Max. Alright, let's do it. Alright, now we are back here with the iPhone 17 Pro Max. So this phone just came out and my dad got it and he's letting me use it to film this video, which is I'm very grateful for. And yeah, we're running with default settings on the 17 Pro Max. And we're not off to a good start on this map. When we were testing this on the 15 Pro Max, I'll do it side by side, we were getting around 19 FPS, and here we're kind of locked at 30. I mean, this chip is comparable to the M1 in power, so theoretically we should run pretty good. In fact, I think it's quite a bit stronger in single core. Alright, so we're in the crowd here and we're getting around. It's actually fluctuating a lot. It's definitely stabilizing, but there are a few frame rate dips and quite a lot of stuttering, which I think is my main complaint about this port, is the constant stuttering. And you'll see how much stuttering there is. I'm going to try to get past this dude, but there's so much stuttering here. It is not great. But as you can see, it actually looks pretty good on the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So that's pretty cool. And we can in fact try change the settings because it looks like we are getting a stable 30. I don't think it will support over that, but we'll try change it to 40. It seems like it's just capped at 30 no matter what. Yeah, it is definitely capped, unfortunately. But if we go into this area where these, oh, we are not supposed to be here. I'll change the graphics back to 30, and we're running at middle effects. Could probably try change the middle effects to look a little bit more clear. To quality, up the resolution. Well, it looks really good, certainly clear. I mean, you can see all of the little speckles on Agent 47's bald head, but now we're getting pretty bad performance, but we can make the resolution a little bit higher. But I probably wouldn't if I was you. We could even try running this at balanced. That probably is acceptable. We might have a crash here. Ow, and we crashed. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to relaunch with the gaming HUD. So we got the second crash of the video, but let me load back into that mission. It was going pretty well until I tried to change the resolution. Alright, I've loaded back up at 1080p, well 1300p really, but more like 1080p, so quite high resolution. And we're getting around 24 FPS. We did actually crash, which is pretty disappointing, but I don't think we're going to be able to change the graphics all that much. But we'll just let it try render everything at 1080p. Certainly looks really good, especially looks excellent on the actual device. But again, the frame rate's not great, which is actually very shocking considering that this is the brand new Pro Max phone. I wonder how it would run on the air. That would be pretty interesting to see, because I don't know how the air's thermals would be able to handle this, or if it would even be able to run it. Alright, so that's clearly not going to work, so let's change back to default, which we clearly got a pretty locked 30 at. You can see the immediate pretty much half that resolution there. So we pretty much cut the resolution in half at the default settings than what I had. And it's locked at 30, which I think is pretty cool. We just got the VIP thing here, so we can go back. But, as you can see, it's practically locked at 30, which is a good experience compared to the iPhone 15 Pro Max, which wasn't really locked at 30. Now, if you want to see more content with the iPhone 17 Pro Max, just let me know. Because, again, my dad's happy to let me borrow his phone to make videos. He has been a massive supporter in the channel. Alright, there's some security over here, so we'll just start shooting at them. So even while shooting, although it's not that crazy so far, even while shooting we're not getting a bad frame rate. Is he getting back up? Yes, he is. So I'm looking down at my screen because the frame rate is different. Didn't mean to shoot into the crowd there, that was pretty disrespectful. How are we not in combat? Like, Court is in combat yet? Literally attacking security guards out in the open. What is wrong with you? We just start shooting. I don't want to shoot at civilians. That's messed up. I just need security. Oh, I want this costume. Give me that. There are people in the way. Alright, well, as we can see in this test, the frame rate is actually pretty good when there's intense combat going on. And with that being said, I think this is going to end the video here. So overall, as we saw, this is a pretty decent port. I think there's some strengths and weaknesses in this port. So first we're going to go through the strengths, and then we're going to go for the weaknesses. So I think them implementing these custom control measures is really good, because it's really responsive controls and they feel good to play, unlike the Resident Evil ports and the Death Stranding ports, which just feel horrible on touchscreen. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I didn't really play a lot of touchscreen games as a kid, so there's that, but I can't really play them very well on that control configuration. But here I can play perfectly fine. Now for the downsides. First thing we're going to talk about is the elephant in the room, the performance. I think locking it at 30 is a bit crazy. I think we should have the choice of going above on devices. I don't know what devices are capable of running at 60 FPS, but for test sake purposes, they should uncap it if we choose to uncap it. Because if you saw in the video, I selected 60 and 40 FPS, but it was still capped at 30 for some reason, so I don't really like that. I think the graphics are really good. I like that it's the full game. That's also good. I can appreciate that. I think that it's also really awesome that you can buy the maps individually. I think that is a really good thing. So like, you can buy as you go on, and maybe if you're not happy with the game anymore, you don't buy more maps, etc. You can buy the maps you do want to play and skip kind of the boring missions, like the sniper missions, if you don't like that. And overall, I think I would give this port probably about a 7 out of 10, because I think it's pretty good, but the performance could be better. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.